My Mate Pet Food Company had an incident where an ex-employee entered the plant, shot out the company switchboard before setting off several homemade bombs. The crisis in one day saw two phases of Fink's four-stage crisis theory. It opened with the first being the initial warning, the first word that the attack had occurred. And this is the time that the CMT coming together to create the action plan. It's nearly guaranteed that the crisis will evolve. In an extreme short time frame, the My Mate crisis advanced into the acute stage. This is where the CMT really defined their crisis management approach because they must release something to the public. A total of 3 posts were made public on day one. They were a media release outlining the required actions, including the ones that had already taken place. The remaining 2 were social media posts, published to the My Mate Twitter and Facebook pages to address posts already being uploaded by the public. The hashtags that were publicly created, #MyMateMess and #MyMateMurder, were used. We decided that using them would result in a high reach. It was a possibility that those hashtags would eventually trend, and by that stage, it was too late to respond. They become out of control. So trying to rein them in and manage them from the start can help My Mate gain the media monopoly. The utilisation of multiple communication channels allows both internal and external stakeholders to be updated in real time and informed about the crisis. The messages were short and sharp, which allowed for key and direct information to be circulated as it became available. The hashtags also made it simpler to monitor the stream of external information to make judges on potential responses. As Coombs stated in 1999, failure to act during a crisis ensures that the organisation loses control of the message. By releasing statements as soon as possible, it helped put My Mate ahead of the media, and it allowed for the facts to be published before assumptions could be made. Consistently monitoring the public comments and publishing facts before they were heard elsewhere did and continued to assist in maintaining the company's integrity and reputation.
In day 2, the message response model we created regarding the live cross with Sunrise and the CEO's press release was to follow a specific structure in addressing the facts, beginning with clearly defining the facts to prevent misinformation or miscommunication, updating stakeholders on the outcome of any investigation, and explaining issues that need further investigation. We advised the CEO to emphasize genuine feelings of sympathy, empathy, and remorse in all physical statements as they counter self-interest and build credibility and integrity. Confidence in body language and non-verbal signals is also key in handling the situation as it puts stakeholders at ease. These traits were expressed in all written statements also. The apologies aim to demonstrate genuine care and concern for all stakeholders, including those punished. Apologies are extremely effective in reducing media interest and shortening the attention span of the media and stakeholders in a crisis. This method reflects Coombs' strong crisis responsibility response strategy. We also followed the networked crisis communication theory, as research conducted by Schultz, Utz, and Goritz suggests that the public seeks out social media as it provides emotional support during crises, and that the medium matters more than the message. The study found that crisis communication via social media platforms such as Twitter results in a higher organizational reputation as opposed to traditional newspapers. As such, we use Twitter and Facebook to communicate with stakeholders, as it also gives the organization time to address the crisis in-house and produce a more effective solution. These posts were released proactively in order to communicate to the public that they are one of My Mate's top priorities, and it allows My Mate to control the narrative.
So day 3, we're in the depth of the chronic stage. The focus of day 3 was to continue to rebuild stakeholder trust and support by emphasizing the working relationship with emergency services. On this day, My Mate released a website update about the incident. It explained the working partnership with various emergency services and what was being undertaken to ensure the situation did not occur again. We chose to release this information primarily through the My Mate website because it is a structured way to easily distribute and update information, as well as providing links to more information to ensure all stakeholders are informed at every step of the process. To prevent further harm, MyMate worked with emergency services to look after victims and the plant closure. The second-based response we took is to help the public cope psychologically with the crisis by providing consistent updates on Twitter and Facebook that are channels of popularity and provide up-to-the-minute information. In response to the incident of the threat and attack carried out by a distressed family member of one of the victims, MyMate further expressed sympathy for all those affected via Twitter and Facebook, allowing a two-way conversation and an immediate way of providing corrective and honest information to vulnerable stakeholders and the public. Because the crisis was a workplace violence incident falling under the Victim and Crisis Cluster, our responses were based on the SCCT model. Day 3 focused on communicating to the public that MyMate was in control of the whole crisis, including the selling of the bullet hole chair on eBay. Our response, however, did follow lowering responsibility for the crisis. However, this was challenged by the attack on the plant by the family member, where MyMate further attributed responsibility to the care for the welfare of all stakeholders.
Okay, for day 4, during the crisis, new claims of employee mistreatment and sexual assault allegations were voiced by ex-employees that may have been a catalyst to Davidson's actions. The communication of these claims needed to be accurate and consistent, as these issues could have related to the audience members who were following the situation. In response, we use Twitter and Facebook platforms as they show that company personnel are eager to provide information and enter in a dialogue with stakeholders by inviting them to view and comment on company sexual assault policies. We use young Kim's TTR model regarding the sexual assault allegations. Kim's TTR model of crisis communication adds 3 principles: transparency, two-way symmetrical communication, and right time. Two-way communication was achieved through inviting open dialogue by promising updates as the crisis progresses and the forum in which the responses were communicated, and the statements were made in a timely manner. The statements thus far have employed the 3 modes of persuasion in rhetoric, ethos, logos, and pathos, thus lending itself to successful communication. All rumours and accusations were answered strongly and succinctly, offering no leeway for further speculation, and where appropriate, statements used emotionally charged language expressing sympathy for the victims, helping the audience to understand the unravelling events of the case in a timely and controlled manner which would result in a professional perceivement. We also reiterated our effort in assisting the police and internal investigations, further promoting transparency. This would help assist to inform the audience with the progression of the case and also to portray that the MyMates team were in full control of these new claims that were coming out via media. It was important for the messages regarding the sexual assault allegations to be made directly from the CEO, as it makes a significant impact on the overall effect of the messaging, reiterating the above. As a group, clear and succinct ideas were established through our main group chat that allowed for the team to create and produce insightful information about the topic. The audience, along with the victims' families, were able to receive information of the crisis efficiently and effectively due to the clear communication between all group members.
So on the final day of the crisis, we were informed of the consequences for the devastating actions carried out by former employee Eugene Davidson. Together, we discussed the ways in which we would go about delivering this news to both the members of the victims' families, fellow employees, general public, and company directors. It was established that a Facebook and website update was the most appropriate way to distribute this information in a suitable, time-effective way. A media alert and a press release were also posted to ensure that all information was retrieved from the sources and reiterated correctly. This was done to notify all who had been following the unfortunate events that the MyMate crisis was in its final phase of Fink's crisis life cycle, and it also eliminated potential speculation from other media outlets. Davidson's sentence allowed us to initiate the business's recovery and restoration. Through referring back to all the frameworks we've put in place, it was much more effective to generate a positive outcome given the circumstances of the crisis. Our team worked diligently to ensure the utmost courteous and swift approaches were taken in respect to the victims and their families, whilst also providing the relevant and up-to-date information for individuals to know all the happenings within the MyMates crisis of 2018.